Imagine this. A seemingly normal abode set in an average locale cloaking an extraordinary secret. This is the recount of an actual Reddit user who chose the handle Dreamhouse Dweller. He moved into what he believed was the perfect house, excited for the fresh beginnings it offered. Little did he dream, the house concealed chilling narrative of its own, soon to transform his life into an ongoing nightmare. Initial weeks were mundane, filled with typical settling-in tasks. However, Dreamhouse Dweller started observing strange incidents. Food, which he had no recollection of consuming, vanished mysteriously from his fridge. He'd be jolted awake at odd hours by the sound of creaking footsteps, echoing through the barren corridors. His material possessions seemed to mysteriously relocate when his attention was diverted. Dreamhouse Dweller, a logical individual, attempted to brush off these anomalies. Maybe the house was merely adjusting to its foundations, he conjectured. But the unsettling happenstances persisted, becoming creepier and more regular. And then, the shocking revelation that turned his life on its head, the unearthing of a concealed chamber. Behind an ordinary-looking bookshelf lay a compact room, slightly bigger than a storage closet. It was empty except for a threadbare mattress, some personal items, and an assortment of canned food. The truth of his predicament struck him like a freezing wind. An unseen individual was cohabiting in his house. This understanding sent shivers down his spine. The nocturnal footsteps, the disappearing edibles, the shifting objects. Everything started making sense. He was not the sole inhabitant. Someone else lurked in the shadows, an invisible entity whose existence was palpable yet never visible. Dreamhouse Dweller's tale is a spine-chilling warning that the unseen elements are often the most dreadful. Nothing could have prepared anyone for the chilling revelation. An unseen tenant was secretly sharing their dream abode. Have you ever felt a presence watching over you? This next story, narrated by an actual Reddit user, offers a comforting twist to the typical ghost tale. Imagine, if you will, a world where the unseen becomes your savior. Our tale commences as the Reddit user Casper Guardian shares a series of inexplicable incidents that began to unfold in their life, with each event more surreal than the last. They started feeling an unseen presence, like a silhouette that was always just a step behind. At first it was easy to dismiss these occurrences as mere mind tricks that haunt us when we're alone. However, things took a bizarre turn when objects began to move on their own. Keys disappearing from the table only to be found on the kitchen counter, doors closing on their own, and lights flickering without cause. It was as though an invisible hand was orchestrating a game. But the most alarming incident was yet to unfold. One day, as Casper Guardian was about to step onto a busy road, they heard a voice. It was a whisper, a barely audible murmur, but clear enough to make out 3 words: "Don't go there." Startled, they stepped back just as a car sped by, where they would have been a second earlier. After this near-fatal incident, they couldn't shake off the feeling that their invisible companion had saved them. Casper Guardian began to see the strange incidents in a new light. The moving objects, the closing doors, the flickering lights. They were not pranks played by an unseen entity, but attempts to communicate. The ghost, it seemed, was trying to protect them. It was a guardian, a spectral sentinel, from a realm beyond our own. In the face of danger, Casper Guardian found solace in the presence that once terrified them. The unseen presence was no longer a source of fear, but a beacon of safety. Our Reddit user's story reminds us that not all ghost stories are meant to send chills down our spine. Sometimes they serve to remind us that the unseen world might not be as threatening as we think. In the face of danger, Casper Guardian found protection in the unlikeliest of places, their ghostly guardian. Mirrors reflect our image, but what if they reflected something more? Let me narrate the uncanny account of a certain Reddit user who uses the pseudonym Spirit Seeker, who had an eerie encounter with an antique mirror at a local yard sale. Fascinated by its intricate craftsmanship and the enigma it carried, Spirit Seeker decided to bring it home, oblivious of the spine-chilling adventure they were about to commence. As the sun set each day, this Reddit user felt a strange attraction towards the mirror, its reflective surface displaying more than their own image. It started to project sinister visions, depictions of a horrific demise, an irate apparition, and snippets of a long-forgotten epic. The mirror, as Spirit Seeker realized, was a gateway to a previous existence, a peephole into a terrifying tale that unraveled with each passing night. Spirit Seeker was no longer a mere observer, they were drawn into this spectral drama. They saw life through the eyes of a man from the olden times, a man who experienced life, love, and tragic loss. This man, whose wrathful spirit was confined within the antique mirror, happened to be the mirror's first owner. The visions, eerie as they were, began to weave a coherent narrative. A narrative of affection soured, of disloyalty and vengeance, of a death that resulted in an eternally tormented spirit. Spirit Seeker was not merely observing these occurrences, they were re-experiencing them. They could feel the man's fury, his suffering, his quest for retaliation. After a series of uncanny coincidences and some sleuthing, the final piece of the puzzle clicked into place. Spirit Seeker, to their astonishment, discovered that they were the reincarnation of the mirror's first owner. They were not just observing the man's life, they were the man. The mirror was reflecting not just a generic ghostly tale, it was reflecting Spirit Seeker's own previous existence, a life marked by remorse and a spirit craving resolution. They were destined to find the mirror, to unearth their past, and to grant the irate spirit the peace it had been seeking. In the depths of the mirror, Spirit Seeker found a reflection of a past life, and a spirit seeking closure. Ghost stories don't always have to be terrifying, sometimes they can be heartwarming. Let's delve into a tale that, despite its spectral elements, leaves us with a warm glow. This story originates from a Reddit user named Shadow Chaser, who, rather than being haunted, has been befriended by in Shadow Chaser's own words, "I began to notice little things around the house. Objects would move slightly, doors would creak open, and sometimes whispers would fill the silence of my home." However, instead of fear, Shadow Chaser felt an inexplicable sense of comfort and companionship. A friendship of sorts began to bloom between the living and the dead. He describes the ghost as a silent listener to his thoughts and stories, a spectral confidant in the solitude of his home. They would spend evenings in a unique companionship, Shadow Chaser recounting tales from his day, the ghost responding in its own subtle ways. A gust of wind, a flicker of light. Even in the tasks of daily life, the ghost seemed to lend a hand. Shadow Chaser would often find lost items like keys or the TV remote, mysteriously placed on tables, and sometimes even a pot saved from boiling over. It was as if this unseen entity was not just a silent observer, but an active participant in Shadow Chaser's life. Eventually he discovered the truth about his spectral companion. Through a series of clues and some old records, he found out that the ghost was a former occupant of his home. A lonely old man who had lived and died alone. He wasn't haunting the house out of malice or regret, but simply because he yearned for the companionship he didn't have in his lifetime. And so, Shadow Chaser continued to coexist with his friendly apparition, their bond transcending the boundaries of life and death. They found solace in each other's presence, a testament to the fact that even in the spectral realm there is room for friendship and warmth. As Shadow Chaser himself puts it, "In this spectral friendship, I found companionship in the most unexpected form, a friendly apparition." In conclusion, as we tread lightly into the unknown, we must remember to respect the mysteries that surround us. The unseen world, with its spectral tenants and friendly apparitions, is not a realm to be trifled with, but rather one to be appreciated and acknowledged. As we've journeyed through these tales together, we've learned that the unseen can be both chilling and comforting, a testament to the complexity of the world we inhabit. But let's not forget, the paranormal is not a playground. It's a fascinating realm, but one that demands our respect and caution. So if you've enjoyed these stories of the unseen, remember to stay subscribed and keep exploring with us. There's much more to uncover in our world and beyond, and remember, don't mess with the paranormal. Until our next journey, stay curious, stay respectful, and most importantly, stay safe.